Every few months we get a juicy new internet slang to call our friends. Lately it's been Chud, and man is it a fun word to say. You know what else is recent? Frieren. Let's blend these two. I've seen my fair share of memes calling Frieren a Chud elf, but is she truly a Chud? Something about Frieren does sorta give off Chud energy, but we also don't just go off of vibes here. We use the power of science to truly determine whether or not this gremlin elf is truly a Chud. So first things first, a definition. No, actually, I lied, because I couldn't really find a good definition. Most of them are skewed pretty political, and while I do get that's where the word started, I feel like it isn't really how it's used nowadays, at least not the majority of the time. At least not in my Instagram feed at least, so take this with a grain of salt, but we'll be making our own definition. But to just get a second opinion first, let's consult what Merriam-Webster Dictionary has to say about Chud. According to Merriam-Webster, Chud is a generalized term of disparagement used somewhat synonymously with fool, troll, and jerk to suggest that someone, usually a man, is rude, boorish, regressive, unintelligent, etc. In online political discourse, Chud is often used specifically as a left-wing insult for someone, again, usually a man, on the far right. See what I mean? We're already involving left and right, and that sort of scares me because politics and internet are sort of like me in a jar of peanut butter, which is to say, bound to explode when left alone together. And look, I get that Frieren does have some political discourse around it, so it's sort of valid to talkish about it and relevant, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little coward man who stammers when the McDonald's cashier has a septum piercing, so can we really expect me to talk politics in an anime video if I can't even flirt with the McDonald's chick? No, I cannot, so we're going to ignore the left-right stuff because I'm a coward. So let's make our own Chud definition from the scraps left behind. I would say a Chud is a traditionally unattractive creature who doesn't have much ambition in life, rots away due to apathy, and has strong political views in some fashion. They often bother or annoy those around them, have poor hygiene, and are often unaware of the effect that they have on other people. This is what I think of when I hear the word Chud at least, a bit more of a neutral insult, applicable to basically anyone because at its core it's just sort of a funny word to throw at your friends in Instagram comment sections, or maybe self-deprecating humor. Like a spelling bee, let's use it in a sentence. Ugh, such a fat freaking chud. Or, dude, you're totally chud maxing. Or, he's so chudded out, bro, etc. So, is Frieren a stupid chud elf? Let's go by this definition bit by bit and we'll see if it fits the criteria. We'll keep score with yes points that look like this, yay! And no points that look like this, good. First, a traditionally unattractive creature. That's our first line that we gotta go by. This one's a bit tricky because she kinda straddles both worlds. Now, for a cultured culinary item such as myself, the taco, I must admit I have objectively good taste and I think Frieren is sort of a baddie. But my opinion is irrelevant because we only care about if she is traditionally attractive or not. It is joked about a few times in the show and online that Frieren isn't particularly sexy or super duper hot or ideal or whatever according to the standard definition, but she also isn't ugly or unkempt, so while she isn't the spitting image of insert generic anime baddie here, she also has a baseline cuteness and appeal that most people would agree exists, and therefore doesn't make her necessarily unattractive in a certain sense. So overall, we're gonna give our first criterion a net neutral. Not exactly ugly, but not what everyone considers to be the pinnacle of generic beauty either. IDK how to word this. I think you know what I mean though. I feel like someone's still gonna get mad at me in the comment for saying she's hot or not hot. So, you know what? Go ahead, leave that comment, however much you disagree. Feed the algorithm like furry artists' weird drawings and I don't know where I was going with that joke. Can we just move on to the next extremely accurate scientific test? Alright, next up in the definition is doesn't have much ambition in life, rots away due to apathy. And yep, we are checking this box straight away. Look, it's not like Frieren doesn't do anything, but she's really sort of forced into it by a bunch of uppity humans who have things like goals and stuff. Other than grimoires, Frieren, as I like to call her, ain't doing jack. As for the rotting part, she can't even wake up, let alone do her own hair without Mommy Fern coming in clutch. So while she might not turn into a total slug without a maid, I think it's still bad enough to count as rotting. She sleeps more, and avoids effort at every turn. So now the score is 1 neutral and 1 good. Will she stay a chud or get redeemed in the next fight? We're going from scientific tests to fight terminology, but same difference. Round 3. The next part of the definition is has strong political views in some fashion. Now look, we've already been over my fear of politics online, so I'm not going to spend too much time with bold takes on hot button issues in the world of Frieren, because I know there is some in that show. Whether she's right or wrong, or how that applies to life, that's not my freaking job, and I'm going to pee my pants out of fear if I have to give commentary on it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and say Frieren does just have some strong political views, whether they're right or wrong, not my freaking problem. Reminds me of that one meme.
Hey, I noticed that you hold extreme fringe political views. Is it safe to assume that you're a fan of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind?
Just replace Morrowind with Frieren, and yeah, I mean, you get the idea. Anyway, let's also not forget that she literally killed a demon king. Kings are by nature kind of political, so this has got to count for something. So Frieren officially earns another G. The score is currently 0-2, and not the anime girl kind of 0-2. And for those of you disagreeing, a king is literally a political figure, so that's technically political. Coming up next, we have the line, they often bother or annoy those around them. And yeah, let's be real, Frieren is Loke, the queen of trolling. Oh, hello, Fern. Do you feel like you're wasting the springtime of your youth? Well, that sucks more than the mimic on my head, because I'm about to spend the next 4 years of your life looking for a spell that can toast bread, but only on Wednesdays if your zodiac sign is Scorpio and your fly is down. Other than that, she often gets her party into trouble by forgetting or leaving out key details, and also trolls quite a few towns with some shenanigans, and we can't forget the incidents of the dissolving clothes juice, and of course basically her entire relationship with Himmel, including the Himmel flashbacks. Can you imagine how bewilderingly annoying those things must be without us being able to watch the scene on TV? Because in real life, air quotes, Fern and Stark can't see the anime, they don't get a cool flashback, they're just sitting there while good old Frieren blue screens for 5 minutes staring into the sky thinking about her 100-year-old failed situationship, and don't even get me started on how she trolled Himmel himself. Look, there's leading someone on, and there's leading someone onto an impalement spike. Himmel went from this, waiting to clap Frieren, and she never let him crack a single time. So he ended up looking like this. That's what no buns does to a man. What a tragedy. So yes, another G for Frieren. Things are not looking so hot for her now, other than her face is kind of cute. Never fear, my friends, because there might be hope in this next bout. As per the extremely accurate definition I made that was peer-reviewed by exactly 0 experts and equal number of non-experts, we went from science to fight to science kit. I didn't proofread the script very well, if you can't tell. The next part of the Chud Code of Law, and now we're doing legal, is they have poor hygiene. And look, I get that without Fern, Frieren would have a much harder time being presentable, let alone alive. But we can't forget that in her free time and in flashbacks, we see Frieren actually bathe pretty often. She's always well kept. She might use Fern as a bit of a crutch lately, but we do know she's capable and values being clean pretty highly. I mean, heck, they even have spells for things like laundry, so she seems pretty tidy to me. So Frieren has earned herself a much needed yay! Will this be enough to combat her early losses? Let's hope so. The last part of the definition goes as follows. They are often unaware of the effect they have on people, and while Frieren does occasionally sow some of empathy, courtesy, or whatever fancy word ending in Y you want to use, I think the best you could hope for in this category is a neutral, because like we've said, Frieren can be a bit of a troll, and oftentimes is just flat out oblivious to the frustration she's causing those around her. So while I can respect her ability to at least sometimes be self-aware, I don't think it happens often enough to really squeak out the dub here. So does that mean a neutral score? I mean, I was thinking so as well, but as I was writing this, I realized I almost missed a fatal error. The fact that Frieren's power to not realize how people think of her is literally baked into the entire plotline of this entire frickin' show. Not to beat a dead hero, but Himmel the horse is prime example of this. We went 100 years long, excruciating years, on the sidelines in the frickin' cuck chair waiting for Frieren to realize the effect she had on bro, all for nothing. If this is what happens when she blows a kiss at him, I'm getting ahead of myself. So snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, or in this case I guess a draw, Frieren unfortunately gets hit with another G. Himmel really had the hardest of lives, bro. Alright fellas, this puts us in pretty unfortunate grounds for our client the elf. I guess we're back in legal terminology. With a score like this, there isn't even really an argument, is there? Frieren might just be a total chud. Chud elf alert, someone drop the Wojak. Quick, I don't have the art skills for it. And I know what you're saying. Toasty, you literally wrote the definition/criteria you used for the video. It's hardly fair to hold her to standards that are inherently biased because you wrote it to work against her. And my answer is, mind your own flippin' business. Like asking whether your homie has tried to suck his own mage's staff before, some things are just best left unquestioned. So according to my 100% accurate and uncriticizable definition of Chud, Frieren is found guilty on almost all counts of Chud-like behavior. Poor thing. But it really makes me feel for the poor human party members who have had to deal with her Chudness all this time. But hey, go ahead and debate in the comments. Arguments like that are pretty good for engagement. If you enjoy Frieren, which you obviously do, check out my video that I made on the main show. The card should hopefully be in the corner. Here are the people who answered the question at the end of the last video. Answer today's question and end up in the end of the next video. My question for you today is, what magic power is your favorite? My mine is probably time manipulation. If you want to vote for video topics, become a channel member like upper tier member Frog Wizard. If you like the video and maybe sub if you're already here, have a fantastic day whether you subscribe or not. Just know that whether my day is fantastic or not depends entirely on how well this video performs, so you better lock in and hit all those buttons. If you love me enough to get to the end of the video, I'm very grateful. Okay, taco out, talk out.